We live in a world that tells men they must be hunters. From the moment a boy begins to notice the opposite sex, the narrative is everywhere. In movies, in music, in locker rooms, and across every social media feed, we are told that a man's worth is measured by his ability to pursue, to conquer, and to win the attention of women. We are taught that the chase is a fundamental part of the masculine identity. The message is clear: if you aren't chasing, you aren't trying, and if you aren't trying, you aren't a man of value. But lately, a quiet but powerful shift has been happening. Have you noticed a growing number of men who simply aren't playing the game anymore? They aren't on the dating apps, swiping until their thumbs are sore. They aren't spending their weekends in crowded, loud bars trying to compete for a stranger's attention. They aren't sending those desperate, checking in texts to women who haven't replied in 3 days. To the outside world, these men might look like they've given up. Society might label them as lazy, unmotivated, or even lonely. But if you look deeper into the actual psychology of a man who doesn't chase, you'll find that he hasn't lost his drive, he has redirected it. What if the man who doesn't chase isn't failing? What if he has actually reached a level of psychological maturity that most men never find because they are too busy running? What if his decision to stop pursuing isn't a sign of defeat, but the ultimate sign of self-respect? Today, we are going to explore the hidden psychological reasons why high-value, intelligent men are stepping away from the chase and why this choice is often the most attractive thing a man can do. The first psychological shift occurs when a man moves from a scarcity mindset to an abundance mindset. Most men chase because they are fundamentally afraid. They are afraid that if they don't pursue this one specific person, they will never find another. They are afraid of being alone, and that fear drives them to act out of desperation. Desperation is the loudest emotion in the room. It makes a man overlook red flags, tolerate disrespect, and compromise his own values just to keep someone interested. When you chase from a place of scarcity, you are essentially telling yourself and the world that you are less than the person you are pursuing. The man who doesn't chase has done the difficult internal work to realize that his value is not determined by how many people are in his contact list. He has reached a point of self-sufficiency where he understands that a relationship should be an addition to his life, not the definition of his life. Because he is no longer afraid of being alone, he no longer feels the need to hunt. He stands still, not out of arrogance, but out of a deep-seated belief that what is truly meant for him will not require him to lose his dignity to get it. This is a profound level of security that most people never achieve. While others are running, he is building. This leads to a second reason: the pursuit of purpose over the pursuit of distraction. Psychologists have long noted that high-achieving individuals often enter a state called flow, a period of deep focus on a mission, a career, or a creative passion. For a man who has found his purpose, the chase often feels like a massive cognitive distraction. He realizes that chasing someone requires an enormous amount of mental and emotional energy. It requires time spent over analyzing text messages, money spent on performative dates, and the emotional toll of dealing with modern dating games. An intelligent man treats his energy like a bank account. He asks himself, is this investment going to give me a return? When he looks at the chase, he sees a high-risk, low-reward scenario. He would rather invest that energy into building his business, strengthening his body, or mastering a skill. He hasn't stopped loving women or appreciating beauty. He has simply started loving his own potential more. He understands that when a man builds a life he is actually proud of, he becomes a magnet rather than a pursuer. He doesn't need to chase because he has become the prize that he used to hunt for. In his world, his mission is the sun, and everything else is just a planet orbiting it. A third factor is high-level pattern recognition. Just like the most self-aware people in any social group, men who don't chase have become experts at reading human behavior. They've seen the hard-to-get games. They've experienced the hot and cold cycles. They've noticed the people who only offer attention when they need validation or a free dinner. While other men see these obstacles as challenges to be overcome with more effort, the intelligent man sees them as unnecessary noise. He has a zero-tolerance policy for games. He realizes that if a person requires him to chase them, it implies an imbalance of power from the very beginning. It suggests that their time is more valuable than his, and their ego is more important than a genuine connection. The man who doesn't chase understands that a healthy relationship is built on mutual interest and reciprocal effort, not on a hunter and prey dynamic. If the interest isn't clear, consistent, and reciprocal, he simply walks away. He doesn't try to convince someone to like him because he understands that you cannot negotiate desire. He respects himself too much to audition for a spot in someone else's life. There is also a deeper, more philosophical reason: the protection of peace. Modern dating is often chaotic. It is filled with ghosting, mixed signals, and social media posturing. For a man who has worked hard to build a peaceful, stable, and productive life, this chaos is an existential threat. He values his mental health and his emotional stability above all else. He has realized that a toxic or high-drama relationship can destroy years of progress in a matter of months. By not chasing, he is protecting his sanctuary. He is not closing himself off. To love, he is simply setting the entry price very high. The price is peace. If a person doesn't bring peace into his life, he has no use for their presence. This level of emotional intelligence allows him to remain calm while other men are stressed and anxious. He doesn't get friend-zoned because he doesn't put himself in positions where he is begging for attention. If the connection isn't easy and natural, he isn't interested. He has traded the temporary chemical high of the chase for the long-term stability of his own mind. Furthermore, society is often subconsciously afraid of these men because they are uncontrollable. Much of our economy and our social structure is built on men's desire to impress others. Men buy expensive cars they can't afford, work jobs they hate, and follow trends they don't like, all to be more attractive in the social chase. A man who doesn't chase is a man who can't be easily manipulated by his desires. He isn't trying to impress the world, he is trying to satisfy himself. This makes him incredibly resilient and dangerous to the status quo. He is immune to the fear of missing out, because he knows that anything worth having won't require him to chase it down. He doesn't care about fitting in, because he has already found a sense of belonging within his own skin. Psychologists also point to the fact that men who don't chase often have a higher level of self-actualization. According to Maslow's hierarchy of needs, once a person's basic needs and social needs are met, they move towards self-actualization, the desire to become everything one is capable of becoming. A man in this stage realizes that chasing others is an external search for something that can only be found internally. He understands that no woman, no matter how beautiful or perfect, can complete him. He is already a complete person. When you are complete, you don't chase, you share. You look for a partner who is also complete, someone with whom you can build something even greater. The final realization for these men is that silence is the ultimate filter. By not chasing, they allow the wrong people to simply drift away. They don't have to break up with anyone or have difficult conversations with people who aren't right for them. Those people simply disappear because they aren't being fueled by the man's chase. This leaves a space in the man's life that is clean, quiet, and intentional. And in that quiet, if a person who truly values him appears, she is easily recognized. There is no noise to drown her out. The man who doesn't chase understands a fundamental truth about human nature. People value what they have to earn. When a man chases, he lowers his perceived value by making himself too available. When he focuses on his own life and only engages when there is a mutual, easy connection, he maintains his value. This isn't about playing hard to get or using pick-up artist tactics. It's about genuinely being hard to get. Because your life is actually busy, your goals are actually important, and your time is actually valuable. So, if you see a man who seems to have retired from the frantic dating scene, don't assume he's lonely or that he's given up. He might be the most connected person you know, connected to his mission, connected to his values, and connected to his own inner peace. He isn't waiting for someone to finish his story, he is the author of his own story. He has realized that the greatest chase in life isn't the pursuit of another person, but the pursuit of the highest version of himself. He has stopped running after the world and has started letting the world catch up to him. And in that stillness, he finds a power that no amount of conquering could ever provide. He is not a man who has lost his way, he is a man who has finally found it. He has discovered that when you stop chasing, you finally have the energy to build a life that is actually worth living. Your time is your life. Spend it on your vision, not on a chase that has no finish line. The right people won't run away from you, so there will never be a reason to run after them. Turn your back on the noise, and for the first time, you will be able to hear the sound of your own strength. This is the psychology of the man who chose to be whole, and in doing so, became truly free,